Hi everybody, and thank you for being here on my channel. Before I actually start the video, I'll be doing two premises. Firstly, I'm not an English native speaker, so of course I'm going to make grammar and pronunciation mistakes. And secondly, I don't have a commentary since like the last April or May, so I'm not trained anymore. So let's get started. Today I'll be making a tutorial on how to beat the super Easter egg Mephistopheles, and let's get through it. So let's get to the setup that you should run. There are like three important cards out of 5 here. The first one is duration increased. You can call it in during the first part of the boss fight as soon as you can, because it allows you to increase the duration of all the upgrades, not only yours but also your team ones. And it can be really helpful during the last step, because this way Twist of Fate and Explosive Touch last longer. You shouldn't be using hide and seek here because it's blocked actually, but it's really helpful for the PC step or the survival step during the normal boss fight. That's why I ran it. Then let's come to Raising Phoenix. My suggestion here is do not use Raising Phoenix unless you are on the 5th talisman. You know, if you die all in the first talisman, you're probably not going to get through the boss fight successfully. So just save it for the next time, for a better time. Then let's talk about Twist of Fate. Well, Twist of Fate shall be activated right after you have completed all the talisman and shot the souls to Mephistopheles. Like, you shoot to Mephistopheles and then activate Raising Phoenix. Twist of Fate, sorry. Because it can be quite helpful, or you'll get all the enemies on you and it's going to be quite a mess. You can like use Twist of Fate if you're having a support role in the team. If you are the one that should shoot the Mephistopheles directly, just use Explosive Touch, because it allows you to shoot him for like 30 seconds or a minute, I don't remember actually, without even caring about the enemies. You'll just have to pay attention to his attacks. So that's how to use the cards here. So a little more theory right now. This is the drawing I made of the arena actually. I've shown you what the symbols mean here. The red circle is the middle of the map, the center of the map, and you should never be there. It's quite risky actually, because it can do a lot of attacks there, like the black hole, the asteroid, the wall of course, and others I'll show you later, the fire tornado and so on. So the black circles are the talismans, or should be the talismans, and the pentagons are the pillars. This other circle on the right is the little area where you'll have to stay during the special waves, but you probably know. And I've also put a star on the spawn, just so you know. Well, there shall be a specific order to the talismans. I mean, you're not forced to, but it's for a reason of comfort actually, because doing a specific order it gets easier, and I can say it on experience, to avoid the final attacks like the fire tornado, but I'll show you later when I'll talk about that. So now let's talk about the structure of the Easter egg. How does it work? Well, firstly, you cannot shoot directly to Mephistopheles, because it doesn't take damage initially, then it will. So you'll have to sit on top of a talisman. Better if you follow the order I told you before, but as I told you, it's not obligatory. You have to sit there for like 30 or 40 seconds. I'm not sure, because it depends on the number of players. And meantime he will do some attacks. He will earn an attack after each and every special wave. So the first talisman you shall do is the one in front of you, right in front of you, the triangle one. Because it's really hard if you go there during the last one, because Mephistopheles is there, and he will be there for a few times. And during the last talisman, he will probably attack you faster. So the first one shall be that one. After you fill in the talisman, souls will appear. So you'll have to select the entangler and shoot the souls directly, I beg your pardon, directly to Mephistopheles. And then when you have finished, you'll see the talisman enlighten on his body. You'll have to shoot directly to the symbol of the talisman. It will be like blue. I think it's blue, yeah. And then after you shoot him, if you do it successfully, you'll get a special wave made up of special enemies from different waves. In the first special wave, you will get just like clowns or, you know, cryptids and blue cryptids, I guess, yeah. On the second one, you'll get all of them plus a slasher. And I suggest you here to keep alive the slasher till you get max ammo. It's always useful to have ammunition, actually. On the third wave you get ninjas in addition to the first ones, but you will not get the slasher or any boss. On the fourth one you will get ninjas and blue rhinos, plus the cryptids and the phantoms. So yeah, it's going to be a mess. And how do you solve it? Well, 3 of you will go on the little area that I've shown with a circle, and the other one, the remaining one, will go in a circle in the middle of the arena, shooting ammunition from the Venomax. You can actually keep the Venomax even if you go down, if you do the 4 weapons glitch, which I always personally do because it's more comfortable, and I'm not going for records actually. So that's it, you run in a circle if you are the one that stays in the middle, and use the Venomax as many times as you possibly can, and every time wait for the max ammo. That's my suggestion. Now it's very important to be successful in this boss fight to be able to predict all the attacks that he does. Firstly, so you're never ever going to give your back to Mephistopheles, because otherwise you will not look at him, and that's really the most important part of the Easter egg, looking at Mephistopheles, because otherwise how do you avoid his attacks? Like, you will not even have to care about the skeletons if you use the Venomax. As soon as he summons, you just shoot your ammunition from the Venomax, and that's it, you look at Mephistopheles, and that's quite good. So now I'll show you how to predict all his attacks. So his main attack is the fireball. He will attack like every 4-5 seconds, and he will have the fireball attack since the very first talisman. It is the attack that he repeats the majority of the times actually during all the boss fights, and it's very important to be able to predict and avoid it. Now, in order to predict, well, you'll have to look at when he moves left to right, which is not a synonym for fireballs. He can move from left to right and not shoot them, but when it does so, just keep your finger on the analog stick in order to run away. And of course you should have seen the gestures he does just before doing the attack. And how do you avoid it? In order to avoid it, you can or slide away, or you can jump away. I suggest you to slide away if you can, because jumping is slower, and if you get a skeleton on you, you're 99% dead. And also will not kill you with the first fireball, not even with the second, and not even with the third one. In order to kill you with a fireball, he will have to hit you with all of them. And he will attack with a fireball mainly the people sitting on top of the talisman. Of course, that's the main reason why there should be max 2 people sitting on the talisman. Because if you all 4 stay there, unlike we did, well, you risk to all get it from the talisman and die in a silly way. Now let's talk about the easiest attack to predict and avoid. Why is it easy to predict? Well, when he does it, it just repeats over and over again the same gesture. And why is it easy to avoid? Well, if you have the Venom X, you just need to shoot your ammo on the ground close to the talisman, and you will not even have to look at the skeletons. You will not have to take care about them, because they will die like the zombies do with the gas nade. That's what the Venom X does. So yeah, it's like a present to you from Activision. Now let's speak about the black hole. This attack is also quite easy to predict, because the gesture, as it happened before with the summoning, is always the same. You'll basically see a black hole, a mini black hole, spawning on top of his hands before he shoots it in the middle of the map. Yeah, so just make sure you're not in the middle of the map when it does this attack. He will attract you to the middle of the map inside of a big, huge black hole, and if you get there, you basically die. But there are many ways to avoid it. If you are not on top of the talisman when he starts doing the attack, when you see the mini black hole spawning into his hands, well, just jump away from the middle. Well, if you instead are on a talisman, if you lay down, the black hole will not attract you, and this is also one of the easiest attacks to avoid, so it allows you to revive dead players, dead friends, and also when he does this attack, you can all 4 get on top of the talisman, because yeah, it's really hard to die for this one. And just one thing, don't go behind the pillar when Mephistopheles hits, because you will die because of fire.